We are Flake, Rose, and Spears, and we are supremely black, dropping content that matters. How y'all doing this week, fellas?
Man, then I had a good week. Celebrated my birthday with my wife. We had a good time. Went out, enjoyed ourselves. It's just a blessing to see another year around the globe, around this earth. Um, so yeah, man, just blessed. Just feeling real blessed. Yeah, out here celebrating the birthday, man, and had a great Mother's Day. We forgot to mention it last week, so we apologize to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to all you women out there holding it strong and holding it down.
Happy, yeah, we did actually forget that. So yeah, happy Mother's Day. To all the queens leading the way. Happy birthday too, man. I didn't even realize when your birthday, nigga, you old, man. Let me just go and get that out there. I didn't even realize. Man, yeah, happy belated, man. I forgot. Is it, so sometimes it falls on, is it Mother's Day? Sometimes it falls on Mother's Day and sometimes it don't?
Sometimes it falls on Mother's Day, sometimes it don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what's up, man. Yeah,
I mean, to be real, ain't happened yet. But by the time this episode dropped, it would have been that happened.
Oh, okay, so when is it? The 12th, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, damn, I missed that. Okay, yeah. So now I'll keep that then. But yeah, man, this D Rose, man. It's been a super chill week, man. I really no super highs, no super lows. Everybody's still here. Everybody's still kicking. So that's always a blessing. What about you, Spirit?
Week been good, chill week. Again, to piggyback off of what Flake said, happy Mother's Day to all the queens out there, to my mama, to y'all mothers, to my three baby mamas, and then everybody else out there who have children or whatnot. Also, happy birthday. I was going to ask, was your birthday the 9th? But then now that y'all clarified that or whatever, I'll be shooting you a message on the 12th. But just like you said, since we record and then the episode be out, happy birthday to you, Flake. But yeah, we've been pretty chill, ain't nothing major or whatnot. So that's about it. Just been chilling or whatnot.
Yeah, but it's good that everybody had a good week, man. But just to kind of pop off this week's conversation, I wanted to hear you brothers' thoughts on the Black Lives Matter clothing is banned at the Tokyo Olympic Games. What's y'all thoughts on that? Is that how do you feel? Do you feel that they're targeting Black people as meaning like Black Lives Matter, or are you thinking they're targeting Black Lives Matter, the actual group? What stance do you think they're taking by banning the clothing?
Well, when you presented this or whatnot, I did a little research. And so doing the research, it's not really the IOC, and I think I'm saying it right, that's the head of, who makes the decisions for, the Olympics or whatever. It wasn't really them who came to this conclusion. Now they're mandating it, but it wasn't really them who came to the conclusion. So from my understanding, press conferences, interviews, things like this, they can wear Black Lives Matters clothing and paraphernalia or whatever the case may be. It's just when you're on the field or if you're in the pool, whatever it is, wherever you perform at during the Summer Olympics, you're not allowed to demonstrate, whether that be take a knee or anything like that, or have that paraphernalia on at that time. But what made them come to this conclusion and mandate this was the athletes. So my issue isn't really with the governing body, it's with the athletes. And we know majority of the athletes that voted on this aren't of our ethnicity, color, dialect, culture, or whatever phrase you want to put it, race, however, whatever term you want to use, they're not of that. And I'm pretty sure there are a couple of I'm gonna try not to be disrespectful, so I'm gonna say sellouts versus Uncle Toms or whatever that did vote to say we don't want to see this here. Sports is for sports or whatever the case may be. But I feel like the other athletes should take an issue with their fellow athlete, because if you cannot be sympathetic, empathetic, if you cannot allow me to do something that affects my people and my culture and said that interferes with what you got going on, you selfish, you rude, you need to be, you need some type of ethics and moral counseling, and maybe you need your ass whooped. Because for it's been going on for over 400 years, but let's just say from the time of social media and camera phones and everything. So let's just say the past 20 to 30 years. For the past 20 to 30 years, you have seen an uprising in unarmed Black people being murdered, being mistreated, being abused, being killed. And you're still telling me that you would rather not see me use my voice to talk about the injustices? Because just because I'm an athlete, that does not take away who I am as a person, my color, my culture, my upbringing, my life. And so me being a track star, me being a swimmer, me being whatever else is in Summer Olympics. I can't think of all the things right now, but whatever other sports are in Summer Olympics does not dictate who I am. That's just what I do, but that's not who I am. And so that's my issue with it. So I'm really not upset with the IOC. I feel like they was kind of pigeonholed to a sense, but I do feel like as the governing body, they could have took a stand and said, we still gonna allow people. But I do feel like it's more an issue with the athletes who voted to say, we would rather not see this happening.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a very good call out on that. Just the IOC, and I really want to know who was the players union that actually voted on this. Was it collectively everybody has to put in a vote? Why was the vote put in place? That type of thing. Flake, what's your thoughts before I ask like my follow up question as well?
Yeah, I know. My question is, who brought it up? Somebody had to bring it up for this to become a vote for it to go out
Right.
to all the athletes. They sent it out to over 3,500 athletes. They state 70% of them voted that they didn't want to see it. They did interview one. One athlete basically said, "I don't want this to take away from what I've done on the field or the track or whatnot." Because it's obvious that if you do it, if somebody to do it, there's going to be the discussion all on ESPN, all on ABC, all on NBC, whatever the situation is. Um, to piggyback off Spears, I'm not mad at the IOC because they was like, either way y'all vote. If y'all vote and say we don't care, then we gonna let it ride. Um, so with that being said, yeah, I mean we know that most majority of the athletes, I mean we talking about the Olympics, some of them might not even totally understand everything that's going on, even though we would like to think that, but some of them might not. They also voted against, no religious remarks as well, no political views or none of that during this time. I'm not completely upset, and that's only because, okay, if you're telling me that when I do my interviews and stuff, I can still pop off. So in my opinion, for everybody who falls under this umbrella, uh, who's fighting for equality, who's fighting for against police brutality, I would use every interview. I would do the Marshawn Lynch approach, and every question they ask me, no matter what they ask me, I'm going to, police brutality, how important our lives is. I'm not three-fifths to anybody. The racial injustice, I'm going to all that. I don't care what they ask. How was your performance? You ran the fastest time. That's great, but we need to see Derek Chauvin in jail in handcuffs. We need to get the killers of Breonna Taylor. Blah, blah. I'm talking about. I would take since you want to do that. Every little hole I get in the interview, that's where I'm going with it. Every single time, you gonna hear me. You might not see the T-shirt, but you gonna hear me. To be honest with you, I think this more probably toward the basketball portion of the summer game. To be honest with you, I think they know that you got warm ups. You stand up on the podium during the basketball games. I think it's more of that. When people get ready to do their warm ups, I don't think anybody would do it at the ceremonies when they first come off, when they first come in and start the games with the torch. I think they more doing it for the podium type situations. I don't think they want to see the black glove fist in the air to happen again. Which once again, you know, I mean, you can do what you want, but if you let me able to talk my stuff at every interview, I'm gonna talk my shit at every interview. That's basically what I'm gonna do.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I agree with both of you all on that. Really, my stance was when I had read it, very much. I think it was a strong stance by the. I was just thinking of the IOC as I was looking into it, but knowing that the players had voted on it and it being so strong, but like you were saying, Flake 70%. I was just wondering why, because my overall focus would be is that are you all stating that you don't really care about your melanated people that you may work with, work alongside that are from other countries that are faced with oppression that maybe, like you said, you're not aware of? What was your reason for thinking that it's not important, even if it was anyone, not just because it was Black Lives Matter? But then I also kind of came to my thoughts of, are they targeting just specifically saying Black people, or are they looking at it from a political stance and saying this is the part that they're actually done with and not want to be associated with the Black Lives Matter movement, per se, from the political group? So that was my question for you all. Do you think that it's targeting Black people, or do you think people are really tired of the misunderstanding of what the Black Lives Matter movement could be, not just the people, but the political group that's behind it?
I don't think I put it like this. That might have been the number one thing on the list, but I like the way they went back and said, all right, if we're going to do that, we're not doing any religious statements. We're not doing any political statements. We're not doing anything at all. You can save that for your interviews or whatever the case may be. I don't think it's going to stir up any type of mess, which it could, because you got people living in close quarters. So when we're talking Olympics, we're not talking about you going to compete against somebody from Russia. You're not going to see them again. No, you might see them at the lunch table. So if they make a wrong statement, they say something wrong, it might it might be some issues in those Olympic quarters. You might see some fights and stuff that go out. But I don't think it's just targeting. I don't. It's hard not to say that. Let me say that. It's hard not to say that it's not, because that's the main thing. That's the main thing that's being brought up. Or is it the main thing that's gonna get you to read them headlines?
That's
That's the thing.
Yeah.
The vote couldn't even been that just targeted Black Lives Matter. It could have been, the way the politics have gone on in America in the last 4 years, or this country last 4 years. You got police brutality happening on the continent of Africa. I can't remember exactly what city and country it was where the police was acting donkeys. And those people could get on that stage and bring recognition to what's going on in those countries. And we don't know what might be happening in another country that we rarely get the news from that might be going on. So, or the political stance, because we got an issue going on in Bogota in South America that's going on with the president and stuff like that that's going on there. So it's like you got a lot of different countries that got issues with their political leaders. So it could have been brought up due to all the other things that's going on around the world. And then in America, if they put Black Lives Matter up there in the news, everybody gonna read it. You gonna get them clicks, you gonna get them shares, and you gonna get paid for advertising because everybody is reading, what you put up there on your news site.
Yeah, because that was my thing. Is like, I wonder, did they know, of course, if you're talking about the United States and you got Tokyo, you want to target Black people, but we know like what was going on in Nigeria, in 2020, at the end of 2020 with SARS. I think that's a huge deal. That's what's going on, because that's attack of their own people, and they're killing their people just left and right. I'm talking about mass shootouts to where I'm not going to compare and contrast, but it's a global thing that melanated people are being under attack. So I just want to know of like what made them choose, Black Lives Matter over, hey, you can't speak about Jesus Christ, you can't speak about God, and why not target religion? Because I think religion means more to people than just a movement. So I just wonder what really made them choose it. It felt clickbaitish to me. Well, what was you saying, Spears? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah, I was just gonna go along with what both of y'all said essentially and say that when you think of the Olympics, it is a global thing versus a national thing. So it's not America, so to speak. But in America, we are going to advertise, talk about the things that concern Americans. So to both of y'all point, I believe it was just a headline for clickbait because that is what affects us and what is important to us and what is going to sell advertisements, what is going to get people to subscribe to, since there's hardly ever any physical newspaper now, but to subscribe to the online newspapers, to the stories that's being told or whatnot. But when you think of the Olympics is hundreds of countries coming together to perform and to compete against each other. So I'm pretty sure that that topic might have been in conversation, but I don't know if it was number one or even number 50 on the list of prioritizing what needs to go on in operating our Olympics to a standard that we feel is presentable to the public and to the masses. So I just think for the American people, and you know how media do, and for media to be divisive and to also pander and patronize its citizens, they decided to go ahead and put this headline up for us to feel some type of way and to try to get a little bit at arms. That's my personal opinion. You really can't research that point, but that's just my personal opinion and how I feel America works as a society.
Yeah, I'm with you on that because I think it was like late January or February they had banned the athletes being able to have sex in the village. They're not encouraging that, hugging and kissing and stuff like that. Didn't make the news. That's not good enough. So I feel you where you're coming from on that. It was I think for me, for people that are really really like moved by it, because I think there's the bigger things, and I just hope people look at it that way. I would just want to know of where did the voting come from and break it down like they do with any other voting. Give us what country they came from, give us the ethnicities, and that'll kind of solve the issues. And I think that'll just help people realize that, from across the board, these are the people that you're supporting, whether this is, baseball players, this is, whomever, or whatever's going on. Like, you just need to just know those things if you're just that hell bent on. I would just want to know who the statistics are, the people that actually slated it.
So if they put that out, that'll be after the Olympics and after everybody went home.
Yeah, after they
would.
Yeah,
they wouldn't want their pressure like in those quarters, in those Olympic quarters. They wouldn't want their pressure. I want their smoke. But like I said, with people, you're not gonna compete with these people, and you're not gonna see them again. I mean, you might compete with them and see them at dinner that night. So yeah, they don't. I don't think they want that smoke happening in those close quarters. And like you said, they didn't mention the whole part where they banning sex. And from my understanding, when you do your research on that, it goes down in the Olympic quarters when it come to that. But also, I thought about this while we was talking. Now, we did see the effect that the George Floyd trial and the George Floyd issue had on the entire world, and had damn near every country in some type of march It could have been number one on. It could have been. Now that I think about that, it could have been number one on the list or a top five due to how the country was marching, due to what happened to George Floyd.
The only reason why I would disagree on being number one on the list is because we got a conviction right now. And so because of the conviction that took place of Derek Chauvin and how far removed the actual protests was from when the actual Olympics are going to take place, that's why I don't think it was number one. Also, those are people being allies and standing up for us, but I don't think they could actually speak to the turmoil that we're going through. Now they can empathize and sympathize, but I don't think they can actually speak to the turmoil that we're going through. So then therefore it wouldn't be all them countries coming to our defense, especially with what Rose said and you said with everything else that's going on in the world. The thing in South America, what happened in Nigeria, there's still stuff that's going on. So other countries are dealing with their own issues themselves. So then I understand they could be sympathetic and empathize with what we going through, but they got some shit that they dealing with too. So that might not be what's on their concern or what's at the top of their list. And then also when you think about the money that these athletes make, unless you're in the NBA and so you're going for, hooping or whatever the case may be, most of these athletes, this is their big payday and they still really don't make shit in the Olympics. So that's another thing to keep in mind with that. But I will say something that you said, Flake, earlier. Dang, I just lost my train of thought. But you said, well, come back to me. I lost my train of thought. Come back to me.
No, it's all good. Now, of course, I think, the probably the top thing was, making sure safety and everything was right. But a little bit of me just wonders if that, I still think that America's viewed in a certain sense, in a certain view. I think, 45 kind of pulled that Band-Aid off a little bit and just showed how crazy things can be over here. But just a little bit about me just thinks that the world still sees us as the perfect country to come to, for opportunity. And that if you're of any race, of any ethnicity, you can come over here and make it. Now, a little bit of me believes that if they stop it at the Olympics, it will not be as big of a deal, regardless if there is a conviction with Chauvin, because there's a lot of other things that are going on. I think the bigger it gets, the more eyes are on it and more people that will be involved. And the last thing that they want to do is lose the ability to control the narrative like they are now, because I think they would side more with, hey, let's cut everything off so America can still be viewed as it is, because other countries are censored anyway, because most of them are pretty much damn near in a dictatorship. So we have the open freedom that most countries don't have. So I just think it's a little bit more of a, like, for the countries that, have a bunch of outspoken people and aren't a part of a dictatorship, I think that helps them more, because it's like, okay, that cuts everything off. And so now nobody says anything about what's really going on. So I think that's a key thing. Did you get your point yet, Experience? Because I do have a question. You got it?
I was going to say something that Flake said earlier when he said, don't nobody want to see the fist raised or whatnot. I still think that's something that can be done, because the fists, even though they correlate, it had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, because Black Lives Matter wasn't out then or the saying or the thing. But then also, it's not necessarily a demonstration. It's just an unspoken thing that says Black Power. So I still think that will be allowed, or you can't tell somebody that they can't do it. But then also, to go to your point, I think that that's something that they should do at every chance that they get, because since you're trying to shut me up, I might not be able to speak verbally, but body language talks too. And so my body language is going to do more for me than my mouth can do, since y'all mandated this, and then y'all might kick me off, or y'all might make us forfeit all our wins, or whatever the case may be, my placing, or whatever the case may be, if I do wear something or say a certain thing or whatever. But my nonverbal communication can be just as loud as my verbal communication.
Yep.
You know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
My thing is, after you get your medal and you take your shirt off and you unzip your jacket and you got a t-shirt on, what they gonna do? What they gonna do? Hey man, we gonna move you to second place. That's fine. I'm still taking this gold medal home. Like what you? It's just like when they took Reggie Bush Heisman Trophy. Okay, I still want a Heisman. like, what you gonna do? You gonna fine me? You ain't gonna do. I ain't gonna send it to you. I'm not finna. What you gonna do, Tokyo? I ain't a resident over here. You ain't gonna put me in jail. America ain't feel like you do that. What you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah, I seen like the fines and things like that, which I think is BS. I think this is all really a big political move, honestly. To my next question is, do you all think that the athletes that are in support of our fight against, police brutality and, ending or racial oppression, do you think that those athletes should go? Or should we protest? Or should they protest, excuse me?
I think they should go. And the only reason why I say I think they should go is because in some situations, every 4 years is the only opportunity you get for this. You worked your entire life to get here. And it's just think if you that first person, this is your first time getting the opportunity to go. And then if you a gymnast, your whole time of being a gymnast at 11, 12 years old, 10 years old, countless hours of practicing, working over and over and over again just to get to this point. If you don't do it this year, you gotta wait a whole nother 4 years to be able to do it again. And who's to say during that training of trying to get there for the next 4 years, you don't tear an ACL, you don't tear an ankle or something like that. That's the reason why I said if you're gonna tell me I can't say anything while I'm in the stadium, I can't make a protest, anything like that. Every interview I get, I am speaking my mind. No matter what question you ask, I'm going to correlate back to the ploy of fighting against police brutality every single time, every single opportunity. It's not like with basketball. The basketball team, they got the fever going on. Like you can come back, 2 years and play. All that, and the world watches the NBA, so you got your opportunity to do that then as well. But when it comes to some of them, some of these sports, the only chance they get is the Olympics to get their name out there and to make majority of their money to get because they don't get paid a lot of money during the Olympics. But however, if you win out on gold medals, you can come back and get all type of endorsements and make your money that way.
So if I'm hearing you correctly before I get to Spears, 'cause I know he got something to say to see how his face is looking.
Oh yeah, I see.
So you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, due to the struggle of you getting to this opportunity and to be able to build your brand would be worth not standing for what you've lived your entire life for.
I'm not saying you can't stand on it. That's why I said every interview you better be talking about. That's all I'm saying. Every interview, like I said, this ain't, but some of the sports like baseball, basketball, and some of them other ones, you can get your bread, you can get your money. But some of them, like track and field, when the last time y'all done watched the track? If it ain't the Olympics, when the last time you done watched some track on TV? When the last time you seen the track athlete, period, on a commercial until we hit around Olympics after Olympic time?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of meets around Houston. That's about it, honestly. Yeah.
I'm just saying, you can't. They don't have no big stage or nothing until you get to the Olympics.
So you're saying not suppressing yourself, but every opportunity to speak towards it.
You better Marshawn Lynch it. You better Marshawn Lynch it. No matter what they ask you, you better talk about Black Lives Matter and police brutality.
Okay, I'm interested in hearing. Appreciate you, brother Flake. I'm interested in hearing experience. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that for a different reason. I'm gonna say they gon' go. They gon' go because this is reminiscent of when we talked about the basketball league boycotting, and then a day later they was back to playing. Like not everybody got that Maya Moore in them. And just side note, real quick, Flake, she need to be a supremely black person of the week one week. But not everybody got.
I think she has been, sir.
No, you did do it. My mistake.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that Maya Moore in them. Not everybody's gonna give up their income for the cause, go out there and fight for the cause and say, me being who I am as a person is more to me than my profession and what I do as a job. So I know for a fact that they're gonna go. So it's not about should they go or not because they're gonna do it. But would I necessarily do it, me personally? Nah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Especially having that platform. There's a difference between there's a caste system, there's a class system, and there's a economic disparity. So me per se, what I stand on, I cannot not go work for the white man though because of the dollar amount that I make and not having no sponsorships, not having nothing else coming in or whatever, basically, besides a couple of little investments that's still not where I need to be, to say, I'm going to quit my job and not work for the white man because of what I stand on when I got kids to feed. But when you do make a certain amount of money and you break something and you do have something that you can actually live off of and get residual income outside of your main profession, I feel like your standards, your morals, and what you go through as a person and what your people go through as a person should be more important than going to stand on the podium for one day. And possibly not standing on the podium because you might get your ass whooped. I feel like, especially when they're trying to take away, and I understand it's not America, but they're trying to take away a right that we as Americans have, and that's the First Amendment right. Freedom of speech goes also in paraphernalia, what you wear, what you have on. And so when somebody tries to take away a right that I have as a citizen or as a person, then therefore you're trying to push your views, your methodology, your whatever you want to call it on me, and I can't stand for that. And I know at the end of the day, I got other money coming in. I made some smart investments. I got some real estate. I got whatever the case may be. I did something where I'm going to be good, and I don't need your little chump change. And me as a person and what I stand on is going to be more important, and me not going is going to speak more volumes than me holding up a gold or silver or bronze medal. So fuck you. And that's how I feel.
So basically, the basketball team.
You said what?
So basically, the basketball team, because them the only ones that.
Well, you know how I feel about the basketball team because I said when they came back that was bullshit.
Yeah,
and
they shouldn't show up. All the millionaires, they should, multi-millionaires, they should show up.
I agree. This was, because correct me if I'm wrong, the Olympics were supposed to be in 2020, but COVID hit, right? So this was my overall thing on it, was that over the last half decade, because it's been 5 years since we've seen an Olympics, this would have been the biggest opportunity ever to have any movement of any sort on a grand scale, and I think that would have dominated the airwaves. And this is exactly what happened is they prevented that opportunity. So for me, if I'm saying that I'm actually for the cause, with me knowing that since 2016, the last time we've seen the Olympics, and if I'm saying that I'm really in support of my people and really care about Black Lives Mattering, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't even entertain it. And I would question, no, I'm sorry, but I would question even people that stated that they really cared for the movement and just going over there just to get a check. I really would, because when you have that level of influence, I've seen people get it out the mud and still able to provide food for their families and, you know, kids, wife, and aren't missing a beat. And they don't have the connects that these people, well, majority of them have anyway. So yeah, I wouldn't do it, because if I say I'm for the people, then I have to show it in this and in solidarity. So I wouldn't support them going if they say that they are, you know, really for the people. It's only right, because it's very obvious of what they're trying to do. They have pretty much told everybody to shut up, dribble, run, kick, whatever sport that you're gonna do, no matter what country you came from. It's not just about Black people. It's in America, but it's, you know, melanated people across the, you know, the world, and or whatever plight you may have in, you know, anything. It's, hey, come over here, play your sports, go home. Please don't come over here and bring up anything that may pertain to your personal life that you have to sacrifice for as you come over here for these Olympic Games. That's exactly what they did. So I think it to any athlete, I'm going to judge them if they say that they're for their country's fight and they go over there just for a check. Like, I don't have any know, because I would do it. That's just not how I would look at it. Like, if my job called or said, hey, if you guys bring up X, Y, and Z, then you can take my badge. I'll find a way to get it.
Yeah. Only thing about some of this that you can go out and find a job. With them, some of them, this all they know and all they've been doing this entire time. Like, they don't know nothing else.
Yeah.
Like, that's all they've been doing. Like those gymnasts, some I was had some swimmers and stuff like that. Like, this all they do. They don't do nothing else until that age cap comes. And then that's when they start coaching and training. And that's all they do their whole life. Like, when you put there. So, I mean, it'd be kind of hard pressed for me to be like, hey, man, you've been, training for this. You ain't had no other job. You don't know nothing else going on, but don't show up.
Yeah.
And you ain't got no backup plan. You ain't got nothing.
No, yeah, I'm following you on that. I'm just more or less saying to people that are really saying that they are for the culture like that. If that's your reason is that you got to go over there to get the check, then that's how you feel what I'm saying? Like, we understand you're grinding for it, but don't on one side, like to Chris's point, at that point you're pandering. It's like, I know for a fact I have you all support, but I gotta go get this check. Now, if you come out and say like, look, this is what I ultimately got to do, because to your point, I don't know any other way to make bread. I think that if we felt more comfortable and trusted our communities more, we wouldn't worry about these particular opportunities, because we know that we can still create a way, regardless if I said I never ran and flipped, never ran again, never shot a basketball again, because my community would stand behind me financially to make sure that I don't run across those hardships. I think that just really shows that for the check, a lot of us are going to make that adjustment. And if money wasn't a thing, is how I always look at people. If money wasn't a thing, how would you be viewed? And what would your purpose be? And if you can't tell me that, then you lose me anyway, because everything that you're doing is money related. You don't really know who you are. So yeah, you may have that talent, but what's your purpose?
I can dig that.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna simply say, at the end of the day, if money is all that you worried about and you trying to get paid off the Olympics, you broke anyway. So that check ain't gonna do enough for you in the first place. So if that little piece of check gonna be what's gonna make you question your dignity and integrity as a person, or as a person of color, or whatever you stand on, then I can't fuck with you in the first place.
I can definitely do that. That's just Simply put. Simply put. Yeah. Oh, well, that's pretty much all I had, fellas. I don't want to just go too far into it. I think we said enough. I know it's a lot of people was like, I think y'all should touch on this, so we got that out the way. Anything else y'all want to do before we wrap it up with the Black Business Minute and the Supremely Black Person of the Week?
I got a question about the Olympics also. We can talk about it, or we not can talk about it.
Okay.
I was doing my research. I read an article that a weightlifter might be the first transgender to compete in the Olympics. A male that is now female that went through their transition in their mid-30s could make the Olympics in weightlifting.
So it's a transgender man about to train.
Woman
About to train.
Yeah.
And so she's competing against.
The transition in her mid-30s that has the opportunity to make the Olympics in weightlifting.
So she's going to be competing against men or other women?
Other women.
I mean, of course she going. I mean,
born man, now female.
I think we all know what that outcome is going to look like.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. She hadn't won in a couple competitions that came in second. I think in the last one, or whatever they placed there right now, they are at 16. But my only problem is who's to say I'm gonna stop taking hormones for this. I'm gonna make that certain point where I can stop taking hormones, and then I'll start getting that testosterone back.
Yeah.
And now I'm out here lifting the whole house.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say, honestly, with the global support of it, I think that they should just start making their own class with it, because at some point you're going to be putting, people that were born whatever sex at a disadvantage. Like I've seen the 6'10" hooper and, the one, they're able to compete against people. Like it's an unfair advantage. I'm just going to be honest. If you're disrespected by that, I mean, it's cool. But you're taking hormones to have, male strength, but you're still competing against women in certain classes. Like, you should be the best.
No, I think you got it mixed up. Born male, now female, going against females.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna leave that alone. I'm just gonna. Hey, look, man. Love, live life. Do what you do. That's crazy, though. I think they should create a class for trans men and trans women to compete against each other, and just let it be. That's it. That's just how I feel. I would answer that. Anything else? I plead.
And I'm going to agree with you there. They should create their own class because, one, I've heard where, you take all these hormones, you lose your testosterone, you're not as whatchamacallit and all that other stuff and all that. I get that. But you still don't go through a period. You still don't have the natural born hormones that women go through. And so you might be competing against a woman that's on her monthly. And when she's dealing with her monthly, she got the cramps, she got all of this stuff, fatigue, bloating, whatever the case may be. And just because you have the hormones that represent the fabrication of a woman in you, you're still not biologically going through what it takes to be a woman. So therefore, you have an unfair advantage. Now, I do get that once you suppress a certain amount of testosterone and estrogen, and you get a certain amount of estrogen levels that increase, it does take away certain, I guess, strength or other factors that you had as being a man, but that still does not negate the advantage that you have over biologically born women. So therefore, you should create your own class, or you should just not compete at all, because you're not going to tell somebody who's in the Special Olympics that, oh, I can compete with you now because A, B, and C, or I feel like I'm retarded, or I feel like I have a mental ailment, or my right leg longer than my left leg by 2 centimeters. So I feel like that should get me into the Special Olympics. And then you're going to compete with them. Like, no. So because we have rules and guidelines on certain things like that, we should keep it mandated across the board and make sure that there's an even playing field across the board. And I don't care if you're offended or not by it, because at the end of the day, you know that you have a biological advantage. And just because you couldn't compete with the man, and you still might not be able to compete with some of these women out here who are excellent at what they do, you still should not be competing with a woman when you are not biologically going through 100% of what that woman is going through and dealing with everything that she's going through, regardless of some fucking medicine that you're taking. And that's just how I feel about it.
Yes, every woman that disagrees with that's what they always say. They like, you think I can train this hard for 3 or 4 days out the month when my cycle comes? They was like, no. You think after I have a child and push out a baby, when I'm able to get back to training, like they're setting me back 4 and 5 weeks of training, and do you think when I go back, I'm gonna be able to hit it this hard? No. And that'd be their issue with that. And it's crazy you brought up that the Special Olympics, because I don't know if y'all heard about this, and we ain't gonna go deep into it, but it's a funny story to me. In South America, they had, I forgot what country it was, but they had a team compete in the Special Olympics for basketball, and they players wasn't so special. Like they had, because you can compete in Special Olympics if your mind is not up to date. Like you got to take a test, and if you don't score a certain point in the test, then you can compete. So they had other people take the test for them, and they had regular, able-bodied people out there just finger rolling, blocking shots, and all that to win in the Special Olympics. All due because they needed, because they get a certain amount of money or whatever for winning. They were saying that their country or city needed that money for whatever they had going on. So they did that, which was it's a damn shame, but it's funny because it just reminds me humans really be trash. Like, how you gonna compete? Able.
I see, for me though, I could kind of be sympathetic to the reason why they did it, because if you're a third world country or whatever, and you in the slums for real, and you living hard, and then you trying to get some money to help your people, to help your family, I can sympathize with that. But at the end of the day, you should still feel wrong about doing something to some people who are less fortunate than you, and like you said, crossing them up, and like, because I can imagine it. I can imagine somebody hitting a real crossover and dunking on somebody who is less fortunate, and they just really going hard in the paint.
And I ain't talking about they had like one or two players. They had a whole team. A whole team. I can understand if you put like two people on your team that's able bodied like that.
But again, it all depends on the details of it, because if you're going against, like, for example, if you're going against America special Olympics team, and then it's a country like, I'm trying to think of one of the worst countries in the world as far as, I'll have to Google it, but just a ravaged country or whatever that don't have nothing. I can understand them trying to do that to get money, but it's all about the backstory. It's all about the backstory. It's all about the backstory.
I just wonder if y'all heard about it. We ain't gotta go too deep into that, but I just thought that was a damn shame.
No, that is, but it's about the backstory.
I don't have any comments. I definitely plead the fifth. Yeah, I'm gonna let that go. I've heard enough. I've heard enough. That's like it. I've heard enough. So we go to close. We go close that out, right, with that Supremely Black Person of the Week and a Black Business Minute. And they got me with that one. Boy, I done heard it all.
So for our Black Business Minute, we have Amore Genevieve or Geneve. It's some wine. So please excuse my my pronunciation of it. It's www.amourbluforever.com. So Amore Blue Forever. And so the thing about the wine is it's the first wine that is blue. And so the backstory is it's a man, his father loved blue or whatever, had a connection with Special Shades of Blue. Once his father passed or whatever, all the heirlooms that he had, from rocks to jewelry to different things, because his father was a collector of blue items because that was his favorite color, they was lost. And so to pay homage to his father and to represent for his father or whatever, he decided to come out with this wine. So it's been quite an adventure. We've become very cognizant of how others have failed in many ways. Nonetheless, we persisted in finding a way to produce a truly natural, organic, and delightful blend of nature, science, and taste. A wine which matures throughout a natural fermentation and aging cycle while retaining its transfixing color and also fully satisfying all the requirements of the FDA, TTB, and European Union. With the institutional approvals, patents on our process and formula, and now growing acclaim, the dreams have become reality. And so that's just the backstory of Amore Geneve or whatever. And so it's a Black-owned wine company, and it's the only blue wine in the world. And so I just thought that was, unique and different. And then also because it's Black-owned. So you could try it out, look them up again at Amore Blue Forever. Blue without the E, forever spelled regularly.com. They also have an Instagram page that is Amore Genevieve, AMOURGENEVE. And yeah, you can find them on Instagram. You could go to their website. Salute to them.
Yeah, definitely salute. Hey, send that to our group me. I definitely want to check it out. I would love to purchase some blue wine. Can't beat that.
All right, I got it.
Yeah.
I bet. I think you missed the perfect opportunity, Spears, to say, excuse my French on that one. Our Supremely Black People of the Week. It's going to be People of the Week. Goes out to all our outstanding students out there, all our Black men and women that are graduating high school, that are graduating college with their bachelors, they're graduating with the associates, they're graduating with the masters, they're graduating with the doctorate degree. So shout out to all you guys out there been working hard and getting your education and getting your diplomas and getting your degrees. We appreciate y'all for all that y'all do. Much luck to y'all as y'all get ready to face the real world on your future endeavors. Continue to work hard, continue to grind. Don't be disappointed. I know they sell all of us a dream that once you get the degree, that you're gonna come out with this six-figure job or this super high-paying job in your field. It don't always happen that way. It is some. As soon as they graduate, they already set up. But majority of y'all is not gonna be set up like that. So don't give up. Keep working, keep grinding, keep searching. Don't give up on yourself. And blessings and to you guys. And I wish you all the best.
Salute. That's definitely huge. Keep pushing the culture forward.
Yes, salute to you. Congratulations on the accomplishment, on the perseverance to continue to do that and go through and to strive for excellence. So salute to y'all. So any last words y'all got for the supporters?
Nah.
I'm just gonna let y'all know this, that at the end of the day, Your moral compass got to be bigger than your pocketbook. So realize that it does take money to get somewhere, but once you're set in whatever your set is, because everybody's set's not the same. Once you're set, whatever your set is and your family's taken care of, do not sell your soul or your standards or your morals just to get more money.
Yeah, because I was just gonna say, don't be a trash human. I think there's been some examples shared today, tonight rather. So yeah, that's it.
Well, that being said, all our queens out there, put your crown on, tilt that thing to the side. Let them know you are a queen. Happy Mother's Day to you all. Happy belated Mother's Day to you all, Black queens out there. For all my kings out there, put your crown on, tilt that thing to the side. Let them know you are a king and not 3/5 of anything. We are supremely black, and we out.
Salute.